Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dawes-Bird, and as always, I'm super excited to be here. Yes, we have a lot to cover today. This is an interesting topic today, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we get started, I want to thank all of the new listeners that are joining. Thank you for checking this out, and thank you for everybody that's been supporting us for the past year, 2-3 years now. So thank you so much. For the new listeners, let me just give you a little background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. We're all about creatively collaborating, connecting, to raise awareness regarding issues that impact us women, right? And so we do that by way of community service, engagement, public speaking, mentoring, workshops, and the arts. And part of the arts is the media platform, which is what we're here doing today. And so lately, as I've mentioned before several times, that I really like this because we have an opportunity to bring subject matter experts and interesting people here to talk about things that impact us or things that we just need to be aware of. And today is no different. Today's topic is the World of CBD. We've heard that term. We've seen it. People are using it. I think there is a population of people that still need to understand it and understand the principles and what it means. And so my guest is so good at this. I mean, she's been involved and engaged in this. And so I couldn't have anyone else better to talk about this product today, but none other than Alison Owens Greene. Alison, welcome. Thank you for being here. So we're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to ask you, just Alison, share a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah, I hear the accent.
I'm a mother and a wife, mother of 7 children,
Wait, stop. We're going to move that mic in first. And then stop. You said mother of 7?
Yes, mother of 7, my oldest being 38, 39, my youngest being 19. So
Okay.
Mother of 7. Grandmother
Wow.
to 8, maybe 9. I'm not sure. I've lost
Oh
count.
my gosh.
So
You have a village of children.
Yeah, we have a village.
Nice.
And so pretty much, upon coming here from Jamaica, I established myself as a healthcare professional. I worked in healthcare for quite a while. I obtained my PhD in information technology management. So primarily my work has been involved in designing systems for healthcare for hospitals and things of that nature.
Now, I've heard you do some other wonderful interviews, and so your accent is still rich, but you've been here since the 70s, right? You've been here for quite some time. So how do you keep your accent so full? You go back?
We can't talk anytime. We can't do anything. We can't talk Jamaican. We can't do anything.
Yes!
But then most people say, what did you say?
What did you just say?
So I have to conform to the norm.
Yes.
And speak the Queen's English.
I hear you.
Yeah, I still have my patois.
You sure do. That was nice. That made me feel good. Because my mother's Jamaican.
Really?
So yeah. My mother's from Kingston. My grandmother's from Montego Bay.
That's right.
So you're going to be right at home here, okay?
Yes, I'm from Kingston. My mother's from Mucka and my father's from St. Louis.
Awesome. So Alison, tell us a little bit about what CBD is. What is that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you what it's not, first of all.
Okay.
And what is not is it's not a hype. As it's been made to believe. I'm sure when you look at a lot of the media articles, you know the hype of CBD. So CBD is not a hype. It is not a wonder drug.
Okay.
It's not any of those things. What it is a part of a plant that is the non-THC part of the plant. So that's the part of the plant that does not make you high.
Okay.
And so due to the hemp agricultural bill that was passed last year, hemp is no longer on the list of controlled substances, so that legalizes CBD, which is part of the hemp plant.
Okay.
So, of course, you figure, well, you have a plant that has its THC components, which are the parts that are very effective for pain, anxiety, things of that nature. But, of course, it's not legalized in every state.
Right.
So medical marijuana, there's no such thing as medical marijuana, but marijuana, which is used to treat medically, is, as I mentioned, not legal in a lot of states. So it may be legal for recreational use in some states. And here in Georgia, of course, we're very limited in medical marijuana utilization.
Yeah.
So pretty much you have to be at the point of death in order to get that type of assistance. Whereas, let's say in Florida, they have more relaxed laws where people who may have mental health or anxiety or PTSD are able to benefit from CBD and medical marijuana if need be.
So the marijuana, well, it's a lot of different things because you said a lot of good things. So I'm going to take it back. So from a medical perspective, how can one get it medically? Is it prescribed? How do we get it that way if possible?
So in the state of Georgia, to my knowledge, there are only 7 providers who actually refer. Providers cannot write a prescription for it. What they can do is refer you to, unfortunately, the state who still has it on, the list of Schedule I drugs. So you can only be referred, but they cannot write a prescription.
Okay. So tell me, Allison, how did you get interested in or involved with CBD?
That's a very good question.
Okay.
So there are multiple things that plays into this. My son is bipolar and schizophrenic. When he returned from the Army, he returned a whole another person.
Really?
For many years, we went through a lot with his mental health, not being able to get treatment, not being able to get medication, myself not being able to get medication, just dealing with that situation.
Right.
And so I actually started on the path of looking for things that could help him because it was difficult to get medication. So when he was assessed, by Social Security, they said, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with him. But then I had to deal with, the manic side, the mania of it. So I just started looking into different things, and actually it was my daughter who brought it to my attention. She said, why don't you just, try some CBD if you can't get the medication? However, I didn't get a chance to do that because he ended up going into a program which was very effective for him through the jail system, which is something that I'm also working on, and that's another story. But continuing on with my interest in CBD, I started looking at, the therapeutic effects of it. So I started on kind of like a journey to find out what they were doing in the United States, because in Jamaica, we're no stranger to marijuana. I mean, marijuana has been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yes.
Rastafarians has been using it as sacrament. People have been using it for herbal teas and all types of things. So there was really nothing new about it. Here, there's a stigma, of course, around people who have been arrested, whose lives have been adjusted because of marijuana. And so it's difficult to break free from that stigma of what CBD is as opposed to what, THC is. So when you say CBD, they're like, oh, you're a drug dealer. No, CBD is the psychotropic part of the plant. There is no hallucinogens or anything associated to CBD. So CBD is actually, on the market now. It's being used for many things, as you can see here from the products that I brought. You have our hair growth with our with Anagain. You have your skincare. You have your pain intensive relief rub products. So from CBD, you're able to obtain a lot of different benefits through many different products. So these are what we would refer to as full spectrum. No matter how you utilize it, whether you put it in your hair, whether you put it on your skin, or whether you rub it on your body, your receptors in your brain, your CBD1 and CBD2 receptors knows and understands that it's going to take it to wherever you need relief from whatever you need it from. So CBD is a safe alternative. Because, of course, there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. People who may not have access to medication, people who may want to reduce the types of or how many medicines they may potentially take. You may have people on 10 and 15 meds who feel that they want to pull back. It's expensive. We're not against the pharmaceutical company, but we want people to understand that there are CBD products and there are products that have efficacy. Our products are backed by doctors. They're utilized by athletes, but you certainly don't have to be an athlete to heal like that. But we do know that athletes do tax their bodies a lot. It takes a lot to be an athlete and maintain that type of stability. So utilizing a product that's backed by doctors, researchers, and scientists, I think would be a good choice.
But we appreciate you, Allison, with this because some of us, and I appreciate your statement saying that you're not against pharmaceutical companies, but we as a consumer, we feel that it's just a very tremendous big industry, right, that is designed to just take, and really not really in the business of solving the problem, maybe band-aiding the issues so that we're continually on these prescriptions and these drugs and things like that. So I think that most people are trying to navigate their life in a space where they're trying to be as organic or using things that are natural or make sense to them as much as possible. Oftentimes you pick up a box, you can't even read the information that's on the medicine because the names don't make any sense to you, but yet you're expected to take 500 milligrams of this substance and you don't know what it is. Then it may soothe you for a bit, but then the issue is still there. So I think by creating or allowing us to be informed that there's other alternatives for all of the things that we possibly may be going through. Some of us may not be medically challenged. We may not have a disorder per se, but we're dealing with stress and anxiety just a little bit, maybe just road rage, just the every fundamental things that we have to deal with through life. And we're looking through, oftentimes people come home and they have a glass of wine at the end of the day.
That's right.
That's a stress reliever for some people.
Absolutely.
For some it's chamomile tea or herbal tea.
That's right.
So if this is a natural thing that people can have and it's not against the law to use it, then I think we should just talk about it more to understand how different people can use it for different needs as they need it. Fair statement?
That's a fair statement, and that also leads into the fact that every CBD is not created equal.
Okay, talk about that, Alison.
Okay, every CBD is not created equal.
Okay.
They are okay. So let's look at one thing that you just pointed out is the fact that people want to utilize more organic things.
Yes.
Okay, so we have things out there today that says they're organic. We don't really know they're organic. We're just assuming that the FDA said, well, it is organic
Right.
and it's been raised or, nurtured in an environment that makes it organic. I think, everyone has to do their research. We just live in an age where knowledge is rampant. We have all the resources to arm us with that information, and also in being a distributor for CBD helps you to help yourself and other people. So it's not just about selling a product.
Okay.
It's a product that has proven that people have already, it's documented, that works. The problem is that, let's say, for example, I'm taking Glucophage or something for diabetes, and I want to talk to my doctor to make sure that if I'm taking CBD along with Glucophage, that there will not be any adverse reaction to his knowledge, or can probably advise me on it.
Now, what would Glucophage be used for?
Let's just say for diabetes,
Okay.
for the management of diabetes.
Okay, all right.
Let's just say.
Okay.
I'm not a medical doctor, so
Understood.
that's my disclaimer. But let's just say we utilize that for diabetic management, but you're also taking CBD. Maybe some CBDs may have some components in it. They're all made from different strains.
Right.
That may have blood thinning components.
Okay.
And maybe that's not good for you. So how do you have a conversation with a medical professional who does not recognize CBD? How can you help? How can you manage your disease state or lack of it if the medical professional is against the whole aspect of CBD?
Yeah.
So now that leaves you in Atlanta 7 doctors who
Yeah.
potentially you would have to go to
Right.
in order to obtain the knowledge you need to make the best decision on whether or not or what types of products may be best for you. Because as I stated, every CBD is not created equal. You have different strains of CBD that interacts in different ways in different people's bodies. So it's just like some herbs. For people who come from the herbal era like I did, I used to use golden seal, raspberry tea. I still do.
And that's why you look so good.
But by utilizing herbs, that there's some herbs that are not well mixed together, that they can actually cause fatal consequences.
Right.
But nonetheless, they're good separately.
Yes.
So you need to understand that that even though CBD is not a medication, and though it's not illegal, you may still want to, if you're taking medication, need to potentially find out if you want to include that in your treatment or management of yourself on how that's going to work for you. In terms of the business aspect of it, there are a couple of things that I found out. So, of course, a lot of people have contacted me from the previous show, said, how do you start your business? How do you start a business? Things like that nature. So, of course, like anything else, you'll need to choose your entity, whether you want to be an LLC or whatever entity you want, whatever structure you want as a company, you'll have to choose a name. A lot of people have different opinions on whether or not you should choose a name that reflects CBD or if you should choose a name that doesn't, it's up to you.
Right.
I would prefer to be visible because we're moving into the 22nd century and I would prefer people to know exactly what you're getting. I mean, we have a new thought set. understand that if you're working a job, that there is some, investment that is going to be required of you. If you're looking for free CBD, then that might not be the CBD for you because some level of investment is required. You're going to need to make sure that you choose a distributor. For me, I chose a distributor for me who is backed by doctors and scientists.
Okay.
So I know that when I sell my products, natural leaf products, that it is backed by people who can't afford to lose their licenses.
Right.
So they
So
have
it's
to
legit.
make sure that the product has integrity. I don't want to sell or distribute any product that does not have integrity because I myself am a healthcare professional. So choosing a distributor is very important, that has that type of reputation. Ensuring that, of course, you're going to need to get a website, things of that nature, but I would like to caution some people on, let's say, Facebook. When I started out, I didn't know, people said, oh, Facebook, they don't want you to grow your business. Well, they sure don't. It's not a good place for you to advertise CBD. They're still considering CBD a drug or illegal.
Understood.
And so I've received, even today, many emails stating, we need to prove who you are. We've suspended you. So they've suspended me like 15 times. So Facebook is definitely not a platform unless you're probably going to advertise your things under health and wellness.
Okay.
And not CBD. You can do both, but in the event that you call it CBD, then know that you will be suspended. That's not a good place to put your products.
Okay.
And I certainly wouldn't waste my time giving Facebook that kind of business
Right.
because they're certainly not supporting the business of others. So I would move on to
Tell 'em, Alison.
to other platforms. Yes, absolutely. So another challenge you may have in starting your CBD business is in banking. Of course, a lot of people have had to use high-risk banking companies. So let's say, for example, I want to establish my company. I have my license now. I have my name. I'm ready to go. But another thing is you may also need an agriculture license because of the hemp bill. I don't grow marijuana or hemp,
Right.
but I was still required to have an agricultural license.
Really?
Yes, so I had to have an agricultural license as well as a business license. So for those who may be selling hemp, whether it's through a drop shipper or not, through the drop shipper, of course, the drop shipper is going to fulfill it, and by
Yeah.
drop shipper I mean that's your distributor that's going to ship out your product for you. However, if you're making CBD things, let's say I know people who are making lotions and shampoos and soaps
Okay.
and things that's good for the skin, even hair and things of that nature. So they would need to find a company to fulfill their products to be able to send their products out for them. And of course, they can negotiate their price based on that. And then, of course, there comes the marketing aspect of it. Again, we're still fighting through various platforms just to get CBD out there. It's not a drug, but everybody treats it as if it is.
Yeah.
So just getting people to warm up to the idea that, CBD is safe. It is not a drug. Our products actually come with lab results. Natural Leaf is the product that I distribute. You can also go to Natural Leaf, which is www.natraliefcbd.com. and look at, the products there. You can go to my site, www.cannabisplan.com. That's CANNABIZPLAN.com. And, we both have the same products because, of course, we promote the same agenda. But another thing is understanding that you're also going to help people. There are people who are suffering from cancer. There are people who are suffering from diabetes. There are people who are always suffering from pain. I've had so many people that's reached out to me in so many different disease states, multiple sclerosis. As a company, we actually visited Florida when they started, first coming up with their CBD campaign. And we met a lot of patients, a lot of people who've been cooking up things in their kitchen just to get well. People who can't afford medications, who've come up with their own cures. And I'm not sure because it's not taxable, it's not approved by the FDA or the USDA, but it works for them.
Yeah.
So clearly, we need to listen to people who have utilized it or who are utilizing it. People who have skin conditions would definitely benefit from our products. People who have pain. The simple rub would do you good, instead of an opioid or some other medication. So, CBD has its benefits in everything.
Yeah.
Of course, coupled with that, you have to use common sense. to make sure that you're also eating right and that you're also exercising, because those are contributing factors also to your health.
I got a few questions.
Sure.
So with the CDC, are they not pushing this message out that CBD is good? It's not a drug as people are thinking it is. I mean, do you know if they're on the bandwagon of trying to get that word out, or not necessarily? She's laughing. That's like a no. That's like a no, Michelle. No.
I actually was a contractor for the CDC. The CDC, of course, their focus, is around maintaining diseases and things of that nature. I'm not sure what their stance is on CBD.
Gotcha.
Because again, even though it is legal, it is a balancing act for some organizations because of the fact that it does come from the marijuana plant. I mean, you're never going to be able to separate the two. However, like I said, I'm not sure of their stance on it, but I do know that, it's just a matter of time before all states pretty much legalize it.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's my prediction. I'm not a psychic, but it only makes sense. I mean, if you look at the monies that Canada and other companies are making, I mean, we're projected to make into billions by 2030. I mean, we're getting ready to go into, 2020. So there's a lot of money that stand to be made from that. And we're not just looking at the therapeutic aspects of it, but there are other aspects of it too, that, people are starting businesses. Another good thing is that what I would like people to know is that people who currently have their own businesses or looking to get into CBD, it's not a separate industry. You can incorporate this into whatever you're doing, because whether it's medical marijuana or CBD, we have so many areas of this paradigm that has emerged. It's like a whole new market.
Right.
If you go online, you can see the various positions and roles that they're even hiring for now for this new paradigm. So people may want to even start looking at educating themselves.
Yes.
There's a university out there called Cannabis Training University, or CTU, which I utilize, which actually certifies you in 10 areas, of it. So if you want to start your own cooking business or growing, packaging, whatever the case may be, you actually get certified in these 10 areas. And so that actually arms the entrepreneur with the ability to then have the knowledge they need to create the products.
Right.
People may want to create edibles, they want to, like I said, skin creams, things of that nature. So it's a good starting point for people who may want to get certified in that knowledge.
You've been a distributor for a long time?
I actually started distributing probably towards the end of 2018. Prior to that, we actually provide consultative services to doctors.
Okay.
So we not only design software for hospitals and doctors' offices, but we also provide consulting services. So we actually took a look and created a strategy around the services that we offer to realize, well, hey, CBD, medical marijuana, and all those things are not going to become a paradigm of the doctor's bedside conversation.
Right.
And if that is the case, we're not going to have to collect that data, in our EMRs and in our systems that we share and speak to other providers through what we call a health information exchange platform. And because we're going to collect that information when a patient comes in and says, hey, yes, I'm a medical marijuana patient, but I also take Coumadin, I also take Glucophage, I also take this.
Right.
Makes a provider now have to manage that care and become knowledgeable of the interaction between the medical marijuana and the medications that you're taking. So we pretty much provide a service to them that helps them embrace that new paradigm and introduce that conversation into their clinic to help ensure that they have the technology to be able to capture that information at the point of care with the patient, that decision-making information, because we now have analytics where we want to analyze, what's making our patients better, what's doing good for them, and what's not doing good. Not only that, there are performance measures that doctors have to meet, and in order for them to meet those measures, they have to show and demonstrate through their clinical documentation and also through their care how they're caring for that patient and keeping them out of the hospital, so they're not rotating and running up the bills. So that's some of what we're looking at.
So Allison, we're such people of color, black people, we're such an underground culture. Everything we do underground. We keep secret. Sometimes we're embarrassed, we're ashamed, we don't want anyone to know what we do, we don't want to get in trouble. So are we saying that if we use CBD, and we can use me as an example because I haven't used the product, maybe I will, but I haven't.
This is yours, so you will. So you can tell us how it works.
Right. So, but prior to, I have never used this. So, right. and I don't smoke marijuana. I don't engage in. This is not judgment. So let's just say, use me as an example, that I use CBD, but there's something wrong with me now. I go to the doctor, and I have a thyroid or something that's going on. Are we saying that it's okay to tell our doctors when we go that we are using CBD so that we can get the proper analysis and they know everything about us medically, or no?
So there's two parts to that. It's okay to tell them that you're taking CBD.
Okay.
Now, how that plays out in your insurance, we don't know.
We don't know. Disclaimer: we don't know how the insurance company is going to behave.
So there's some gray areas because even though it's not considered a medication, would need to be covered by an insurance company. Mm-hmm. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe an insurance company may deny a claim because they see that you are using CBD and they say, "Oh, wow, they're on drugs," or it's still confusion between what's on Class 1 and what CBD is, which is still non-narcotic. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how that plays out yet because I haven't seen that. But I would tell a doctor, I think that it's responsible for you to inform your doctor that you are taking CBD. Mm-hmm. Now, whether or not that plays out into some insurance claim because of your clinical documentation and your claims of taking CBD, I have no idea. That's something we would have to find out. Or if you have insurance and you reveal that you're taking CBD, on whether or not that will have some adverse impact, even though it's not considered a medicine. Yeah. So I think that's why people are kind of resistant, because there's still gray areas. I'm sure the answers are out there. I don't know all the answers, but that's why we're creating a show to be able to have subject matter experts to come and give us that information, because it's so gray. Yeah,
it is gray. Yeah. And we need legislation and everything else to support get that grayness out of there. But
the FDA, I mean, they have legislation out now, and they're reforming that legislation because it's counterproductive to the emergence of hemp and CBD. So the FDA, I mean, they're reforming some of their legislation, and I'm sure they'll be putting it out there for comment if people would like to comment on some of that legislation, which they should. And the reason that you should is, people may watch this broadcast and say, hey, I don't need that CBD stuff, or I'm not into that hemp stuff, or whatever. But I will tell you this, and there's two aspects of it. One is that you can have insurance, you can call it assurance, but if you have insurance and your insurance doesn't cover a certain medication that you need, it's kind of counterproductive. You have insurance, but for what you need, it doesn't. Yeah. I had an incident in which I had pulmonary embolisms in both lungs. I was traveling back and forth to Canada. Yes. So ultimately, common sense, I had to come off the project because the doctor says, hey, you can't get back on that plane. So now I have to come off the project, so now I have to get rid of my insurance. So now I have to make a decision to leave my work, which means I have to leave the insurance that's covering me. Right. So when I went to price the medication, it was $700 for me to basically take until the doctor says it's okay for me not to take. Right. I didn't have $700 every 30 days. The dosage is. Right. So I had to look for ways. Because I was raised in Jamaica where people did not have the luxury of just running to the urgent care center every time you felt pain, or every time something happened, you ran to the garden. My mother said, go and get me some Cersei tea. Still planted in the garden. She's passed on 3 years. So still planted in the garden today. Go get some Cersei tea because I have a headache. So that was normal for us. Yes. Go get, this bush because my stomach hurts. Yeah. We knew what bush to go get. We knew how much to take of it. There was no FDA to approve it. That was something you knew because you lived on a land where it was available to you. You knew what not to mix together. You knew what to take. So there's going to come a time where, just look at the world where we're going. People are losing jobs, which means they're losing their health care coverage. Yes. The government is now implementing for doctors what's called propensity to pay. If people don't know what propensity to pay is, I will need to come back on your show and explain to them what propensity to pay is going to mean for you as a patient. Okay? So propensity to pay is a dangerous thing. It's a good thing because doctors have to get paid.
Right.
Naturally. But it's going to be dangerous for us as people because propensity to pay means that you're going to qualify for services, but you may not be able to pay for them.
Yeah.
And they have the right to deny you, that service if you don't have the propensity to pay. So there is a lot of regulatory things that's coming down 2020. What's going to happen between patients and doctors, how doctors are going to get reimbursed for the work that they provide, and how patients are going to be able to establish, those relationships where they feel they can share these things, or if they don't have insurance, how are you going to get coverage? Are there concierge doctors out there offering pay for service, there's only one clinic I'm aware of anyway, in I think it's in Athens or above Athens, that actually provides free services one day out of the week. We need to help people identify these services. If you're diagnosed with cancer, God forbid, you went to the emergency room and you have no medical insurance, what's the next step?
Yeah.
When you come home and they say, we ran a scan, we did this, we did your blood test, we've come to the realization that you have cancer, whatever.
Right.
When you go home and you sit there and say, I have no insurance, what do you do at that point? I have nothing. What do you do? Where do you go? Where is the advocacy for that?
Yeah.
Even with mental health, if you're arrested, where do you go? Into a jail? So you're sick and you're mentally ill and you get arrested? So it is legal to put a mentally ill person in a jail? Is that legal? A person who's not aware of themselves, who's schizophrenic and bipolar?
I got you, yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of disparities of care that we're facing.
Yeah.
So it's, even with CBD, there's a friend of mine who I know who has a grandson, and unfortunately has to deal with, his psychosis, and called the social worker, and the social worker left and never returned. So if you can't depend on the very people in healthcare to help you find a solution, you're going to have to find your own solution.
And that's real.
That's real talk.
We talked about a lot of pros, Allison, regarding the use of CBD, whether it is you eat it, you cook it, you apply it to your skin or whatever. Are there any cons to it?
The only con that I've identified with CBD is to make sure that whatever CBD you're taking or ingesting doesn't have certain components in it that may be allergenic to you.
Okay.
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know every strain of CBD, but I'm sure there's certain straws and, certain types of materials that carry things that people can't tolerate, like nuts and grains.
Right.
Certain grains people can't tolerate. So know your CBD. Ask your distributor for lab results. Understand those lab results. Look it up. We live in the knowledge age. Google it. YouTube it. There are resources out there that are reliable resources. And we will also be creating some knowledge content to be able to educate the public on the utilization of CBD and, dosaging and things of that nature. So some of those things are still in question. Some people may say, well, how much CBD is safe for me? How much can I take? May want to start off with 50 milligrams. You may want to increase as time goes on.
Right.
Just like any medication, you are going to take it as you need it. But the good thing about CBD is that, especially our products, is that they're full spectrum CBD. So they're going to target every area in which you have receptors in your body to know that they come to. Those other synthetic medications or things that we take do not bind to your body. That's why it's easy to overdose. That's why you can take pills and overdose. Your body knows no difference. It's just like, okay, I don't know. But the minute that the CBD hits those receptors, it says, I feel good. This is great. Yeah, relief.
Allison, let me ask you. When you started the whole certification process, was it expensive for you to start? Is it, and that's a general question for those that may be seriously interested, that want to understand how do they get into it financially? Because oftentimes we have to believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves, regardless of the business,
That's
right? So if we're serious and some people may be in between jobs, want to be an entrepreneur, might have had illness, might have had a mom or someone that was sick, lost their mom, and want to help other people have options and really want to get into this business. How much was it? Was it very expensive for you to get started distributing?
No, I mean, typically some of our distributors are what I've seen. I mean, $1,000 will start you off if you have it. Maybe they may finance you for $10,000.
Okay.
And then you may be required to put down a deposit of $1,000, and they'll finance the rest for you. That's one aspect. Another aspect is you can become a drop shipper for a distributor, but again, make sure that if you're going to drop ship for a distributor, to make sure that their products are, have integrity.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, you're only allowed, I think, like 1% chargeback when you are selling online. So you don't want products that people are going to continuously return, because once you do that, they're going to discontinue your business. So you want products that when you send out to people that actually do work. If you say it's for pain, then I expect that if I have pain, I should feel some measure of relief.
Yes.
If you say that, this is for my skin, then I should see some measure of improvement. If you say that this is for hair growth, then I should see some measure
I should see my hair grow.
Yeah, it should grow.
I should see my hair grow.
You should see how I grow. You see how I grow.
Yeah.
Grow.
Come on, go. My hair should grow. No.
So
So we should give. It depends on the situation and the person.
So you may have a distributor in which you may have to put down $1,000 of your investment, and the rest is financed by the company. You may have another situation where you may just be a drop shipper, meaning that you're signing up to sell someone else's things. They're actually selling it, shipping it out for you. So there is no investment involved per se, but you're going to have a website and things of that nature to sell the product. So it's up to you. For me, I came in as a distributor, in which requires some measure of deposit, and the reason for that is because the product we have, there is no other CBD product out there that's backed by doctors and scientists. This is the only one.
The real
So if
deal.
you're going to invest in something, I would invest in something that's backed by people who have the knowledge and who continuously research it and are splicing genes and coming up with ways to target, our disease state. If they can do that, they're the only ones that are to date doing that, and then those are the only ones in which I would want to sell their products. And that's the natural leaf products.
Gotcha. Typically, when you are using CBD, how long will it take to see some change or some form of improvement? Does it take maybe a week or a couple of weeks, or just depends on what it is?
I think that just depends on you. So, for example, I'm a person, I don't really take medication. If I take Tylenol, it's very sparingly. So anything that I utilize, I usually feel the full effect of it immediately.
Okay.
I had, some pain in my side, and this is when we started experimenting with, different types of, products. And some of them work, some of them I couldn't tell the difference. So that's why it's important to go with things that are scientific and that's proven by doctors. Again, like I stated, CBD is not a hype, it's a science. It is an actual science that has a map of the various compounds that plants are made up of. And we are made up of those same compounds. And so that's why the plant binds to those terpenes inside of those plants bind to our receptors. So when we're saying, oh my God, it's a drug, I was having a conversation one day in the workplace, and someone said, hey, don't say that so loud. And I said, say what? And they said that word, CBD. I said, are you serious? Again, CBD is not a drug. There is no drug component to it. The acceptable limit is what, 0.3%. So there is no drug.
Okay.
There is no drug, no high.
No high.
Yeah, you can't get high off of it. It's not enough THC in it to make you high.
Okay. Are people smoking it though still, or no? Because you can't smoke it.
Well, you can deliver it any way you want to. Everyone has their own ability to deliver certain things. Some people may want to vape. Some people may want to use a tincture sublingually under the tongue. Other people may want to put it on their skin. Some people, so it all depends. Again, it's not equal to any one person because it is based on your makeup of your body and your tolerance on how much or how little you would need to utilize.
Okay. Has the response been very positive for your products thus far?
Oh yeah, the response has been very positive because our athletes, which are from the NFL, utilizes it. Well, you can't get any more positive responses.
I know
than
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
They would know because they do things that my body can't and probably never will do. And if it works for them, then I know it will work for me because my body doesn't have to perform to that standard, and they have to overperform. So yes, there has been a vast response. In fact, it's such a vast response that even some of them are becoming distributors because, of course, they have to maintain a certain physical regimen, and at the same time, with the the NFL and drug marijuana positive stories, and of course that has plagued them. So now players need something that's natural that can actually help relieve pain. You have bath bombs, you have all different things that can help relieve pain without having to resort to using narcotics or any type of THC-based products.
Does it take a long time to become a distributor?
No, you can just do it in 5 minutes. You can just get your $1,000. You can get your name. You can just, literally in like 72 hours, you can just do those things.
Really?
You can, go get your name, go get your license. Both of your licenses will be obtained in the same place for me. I live in Gwinnett County. So, of course, I went to the licensing office there. I got my license, got my agricultural license. And then, of course, from there you choose your entity. Well, previous to that, you choose your entity. But once you have your name, your licenses, then you want to make sure you have your website. GoDaddy is a good one.
Yeah.
Vista.com. I wouldn't use Shopify because they're not CBD friendly yet. So you want to make sure that before you jump on a website that you want to make sure that they're CBD friendly because you may spend money or an investment getting a website and then voila, they'll say, oh no, you can't sell those products. So know your platform. It would be nice if we had more of a, we have Instagram and YouTube and things of that nature, but we need a bigger platform, a platform like Facebook, but not Facebook.
Yeah.
And so finding your platform is probably going to be challenging, but again, if you're a millennium, then it might be easier because of course they use various other avenues of communication. So broaden your communication, to your audience, whether it's by Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, which is what I'm doing, meeting with yourself, talking to other people who continually ask me how to start a CBD business, just like any other business. Make sure you have your licenses, make sure you have that. Taxes is a very great area too. Make sure that you have a good accountant. They called me from the tax office the other day. Say, hey, did you make any CBD money yet? Yeah, like really, are you serious right now? We want you to file it. Like, how much did you make? So they're waiting and anticipating the revenue,
right?
From this, and so they're literally calling and checking up to see, hey, have you made any revenue? So they're anticipating that people are going to make a sizable revenue, and you will, because you're using a product that is natural. You're using a product that is going to do nothing but help people.
Right.
There is no law I know against helping people. There's a lot of people suffering from pain. There's a lot of people I know that have cancer and who are actually getting cancer treatments but can't, tolerate chemotherapy. So our products will be good for them to be able to help them tolerate or stimulate their appetite in order to eat and maintain healthy cells to maintain chemotherapy. So there is relief out there. You just have to remove that stigma from your head. Oh, I'm on a drug. No, this is CBD. It is not a drug. It is science. It simply comes from the same plant, but it is a non-THC. I will put part of the plant. Everyone knows what THC is. So it's the part that gets you high. CBD is the part that does not. So now we have a lot of people that's making all types of products and soaps and bubble baths and all kinds of things. But again, the downside, or like I said with that, is to make sure that you're looking at what's inside of those products, because they may use fragrances that, even though it's natural, may cause some kind of skin irritation or things of that nature.
Are you finding that there's a lot of women becoming distributors?
Yes, I'm finding that there are a lot of women who want to create a second stream of revenue, or or fire their job and create their first stream of revenue. So I have had a lot of conversations. In fact, A friend called me this week and she said, I'm ready to quit my job. I mean, she had a beautiful array of bath bombs and lotions and soaps, and I mean, she was so creative. And I think that a lot of times, as much as we need our jobs, it stifles our creativity and who we could be as people, because we're putting so much time into someone else's dream and depriving yourself of your own vision.
That's true.
So there's so many people who have reached out to me, asking how to start a CBD business. There are people who have actually been in their kitchen making things and then contacting me to say, okay, what do I do next? What can I do next? So I think, as I stated, we're going to be creating a show that's going to help guide and educate people in all of those things, and it will involve, cooking to show how you can use THC infused foods, for your health and therapeutic benefits. And drinks and smoothies, and how to use certain devices and delivery devices, because everybody doesn't know. Every device is not equal, and everyone's knowledge is not equal.
Right.
So, like I said, it's a new paradigm that requires some direction and education, and we have the doctors and the network to be able to deliver that.
Are there any peer groups that people could join to just bounce things off of and just see what people are saying and talking about? Do you know of anything that people could kind of peek in and join?
Yeah, like anything else, you have to do your homework, but I actually started out, one of my favorite peer groups is Minorities for Medical Marijuana.
Okay.
That was the very first group that I ever followed, and we actually went to all of their events. They were beautiful, impeccable events. There were people there, doctors, lawyers, policemen, nurses, patients, and they're all patients and distributors. They have a wide network. It reaches far. It starts off in Florida, and they have a chapter here in Atlanta, and we ourselves are going to create our own network. So we don't try to cut anybody out. We are all working together to be able to bring about knowledge and financial profitability to everyone. And it's just so much that one person can't cover the whole entire Atlanta area. So
you need some help.
Yeah, you need help. But I think that they're a good form of information and education. That's what helped guide me and our company into our vision, establishing our vision of what it is that we want to do. And it even far exceeds beyond CBD and what we want to do. I mean, we want to establish angel programs where people who may have children who need medical treatment and have to travel to other states. We want to hopefully establish a partnership with Airbnb to be able to provide discounts for families who have to travel with sick children who may need medical marijuana treatment or things of that nature and can't afford to get there. So we want to support a lot of things. Of course, my passion is and always will be mental health. So I'm actually working on a documentary called Bipolar in America. And so, we have a lot of other initiatives just besides selling CBD. We want to incorporate that into, the health and wellness of people, to let them understand that, taking medicines are okay, but we need to go back to looking at more natural things and utilizing in our hair, our skin. We're destroying our hair, we're destroying our skin with utilizing products that serve us no purpose. Especially for minorities, because, of course, we have to use other products. But I think that CBD is a godsend. I wish that more minorities would pay attention and understand that there is a very lucrative opportunity in being a distributor for CBD, because as I said, the people that come to me are people who are in pain. The people who talk to me are people who are looking for some type of relief. There are people who may have hair conditions, skin conditions for a measurable long time, and are looking for relief. So we also are looking for doctors too who believe in that wholesome treatment. And yes, I'm a doctor and I'm going to prescribe medication, but we also have CBD products that we can incorporate into testing and treating you to see if this will also work, to have that flexibility of thinking. So that's another thing, finding a provider who has that flexibility of thinking and doesn't say, oh, that stuff, I wouldn't use it. Here's 30 pills and take that for
you're creating options. You're trying to help
you want to create options to help people, help them make better decisions in managing themselves. And knowing that, if I have pain, I don't have to keep running to the pharmacy.
I know that.
Our products here actually take care of that. So I don't have to worry about that. My skin is, pretty good for a 57-year-old, but of course, now and again, I do
With
have a little
7
stress, but-
children, 8 or 9 grandchildren. Yeah, looking great.
Thank you. So, it's all part of the process. It will help you in maintaining that homeostasis, that balance, that stability within yourself. And again, help you to help other people, which is our main objective.
What's next for you, Allison? Outside of the talk, the TV show, right? You want to do a program for that. What's next for you? Look at her face; she's glowing.
That's because I have so many things in my head.
I know it's
and
right.
I have one little life to manifest it. And I had to get through my 7 kids first to make sure I got them out the house,
Yeah.
so I could be relatively still young and still have my cognitive abilities to then pursue my passion. So my passion has always been about taking care of people. I love taking care of people. That's why I started off in healthcare. I actually moved into information technology at one point because it really pained me to see a lot of the patients that I was working with dying because they had death panels making decisions on what medications they could get, when they could get it, when they could have procedures, when they couldn't have procedures. And so people ultimately would die. Yes. I worked at a hospital here in Atlanta where I was working in, the cancer floor, and I worked there for a while, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It was because there's nothing that I could do personally to change the insurance system, to change, all of that. So I went into the information technology side of it. So it's still important to me because, of course, the systems which, I run and which I manage and which I design and which I deploy ultimately contribute to the care of the patient.
Yeah.
So what's next for me? Starting this show. I think that's the ultimate goal for me, starting the show, because through my walk in healthcare and through becoming a distributor for CBD, I have learned and seen so much that I didn't know that I think people need to know. Even personally. I mean, it's things that I've been going through personally that I didn't really have a support mechanism for, or even things that my body started to go through at a certain age. I didn't know that. I hear about, okay, when you hit 40, this happens, when you hit 45. But how do you manage those things that are happening?
I know.
Where's the conversation around that? Like, we're not talking about those things. So we need to talk about a lot of things. How we're going to be financially secure, how we can create, different streams of revenue. Because jobs, of course, are just that, just over broke. It only takes one day for someone not to like you and to get rid of you, and your whole reality, or what you thought was your stability, is no longer there. So I would highly recommend, especially in a volatile time where people are losing so many jobs, people are closing down stores, that we not only just empower people to become entrepreneurs, but even our children. There's so many kids that are coming out of school and they don't know what to do with their lives. The only thing that they know is either the military or play ball. They don't understand that there's a whole nother area in which they can expand their abilities and creative abilities. And parents need to know, and I know this because I've encountered this, that a lot of their children who want to be entrepreneurs should encourage that entrepreneurial spirit and stop saying get a job, get a job, get a job. And should encourage that entrepreneurial spirit and encourage their kids to start businesses. So we want to be able to sponsor, a couple of children who are serious about becoming entrepreneurs and help them, start businesses. We can't change the whole world, but we have to start in our community somewhere.
That's a program. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's good. Yeah, because oftentimes our parents didn't know. Some fear cripples us oftentimes because we don't know how to begin, how to start. Why would you leave something that's stable to go and do something that you don't really know how to do? And so it's a lot of fear
something that you were taught was stable.
Yeah.
Because most of us have been in the workforce at some point. And at any point, I know I worked for a company here. It was a very lucrative company, one of the biggest in Atlanta. And the job that I did was very significant. Both myself and my husband worked for the company, but they laid off 600 people. I mean, I just woke up and went to work, and they're like, okay, thank you for your service. You're now escorted to the door. So that is the reality, that no matter where you work, there is no stability. It is important for us to create streams of income that does not rely on the backs of other people for you to be able to eat and live. You just can't. Because then I come home and I'm like, okay, now I have to count my pennies and figure out how am I going to do this. I'm going to have to give back the truck. Okay, we're going to have to, your family has to sit down and determine at what point, how are you going to survive? And that's because we continuously suck the breast of corporations whose milk has run out. And we're still sucking. So we need to understand it's time to wean ourselves. and it's time for us to start our own businesses, and it's time for us to show our children how to start businesses.
Yes.
And stop relying on jobs. Even education is great. I have an education. My children have education. It is not the end all be all.
That is correct. That is correct.
Not, there are many people that have PhDs that I know that's homeless. Okay? I've been there myself, and I've slept in my car, and I've worked out of my car. Okay? It was times that I had to do that. And that's why my story goes very deep. I wanted my children to first get out the house before I even started telling my story.
Yeah.
That's how deep it is. And so I've had to sleep in my car. I've had to work out of my car. I've had to eat out of my car. I've had to do those things. So people look at you and they say, wow, you've had to sleep in your car? Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I had to choose which parking lot I was going to park.
Come on.
I had to choose how I was going to eat.
Yeah.
So, I'm here for the purpose of also showing women that no matter what your situation is, no matter what you're coming out of, no matter what it may be, don't ever let that define you as a person to not meet your dream or your success.
Yes.
Because those things are there to prepare you. I would have never thought at the time I was sleeping in a car, or I was homeless, or doing those things, I would have never thought that those things would have contributed to me being the wholesome person that I am
you are today.
But it did.
Yes.
And I want people to know that whether you're abused, or whether you're on drugs, or whether you're being mistreated, or whether you're broke, or whether you're busted, that we got a program for you. There is always something you can do.
Yes.
There is always a way that you can get up out of it. So I want to be able to show women how they can, not just create a stream of revenue, but also to utilize the products
Yes.
and to live by them.
Yes.
And stop depending on other things external to our environment, because they serve us no good.
How can people find you, Allison? How can they find you?
Here.
She said, I'm here, my dear.
Me right here, so you can come right here, so check me out right here. Well, I'm on Facebook, Alison, Greene. Some know me as Saarah Dash.
Yes.
For those out there from New York.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
and my people from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And so I'm on, our website is www.cannabisplan.com.
Say it slow and sweet, baby.
Me say the website goes up. Me say it at www.cannabizplan.com. Cannabis Plan. So if you're looking for someone to come in and organize
Yes.
your medical practice,
Yes.
to get you going, to analyze your documentation, your systems, to implement that, or if you need CBD products, we integrate all of that. Also, I would love for them to go to our distributor site as well,
Yes.
which is Natural Leaf. That's www.natraliefcbd.com, which it is our main distributor.
Awesome.
So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. A lot of great stuff there. Thank you, Allison,
Thank
for
you so
all.
much for having me.
This
I
was-
really do appreciate
This
you.
was very informative. I want to bring you back again because I'm conjuring up another topic with bipolar
Okay.
disorder. I think we'll talk about it offline. But I met someone else who's dealing with schizophrenia and those type of things, and it's something else. And she's doing amazingly well, but she wants to talk about. She has a story, so I'd like to.
Absolutely.
We'll
That
talk
would be
about.
great. That could be incorporated in what we're doing too, because I'm working with someone from the jail from Fulton County, which is where my son was. But he's been through every jail in the city, but they were the only ones who were able to actually find a program for him that took him from where the person that he is today. You would never ever
Really?
believe it. Yes.
Really?
And so I'm grateful for that program. From the Fulton County Jail, and I hope that they implement it. So that was one of my reasons for starting there, to kind of talk to the administrators of the jail, see the current program they have, and also there's some people who are bipolar, mentally ill, who are utilizing CBD because they can't afford medication. So that kind of helps, the anxiety doesn't, of course, I'm sure, take care of the psychosis of it, but if you have a raging person in your house,
Yeah.
I mean, my son was a raging maniac, and I had to find ways and things to put in his food to calm him down. But it's dangerous to have a person like that in your house, no matter how much you love them, and not have a support system in place.
Yeah.
You call the social worker and she disappears.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
You get what I'm
I
saying?
get
So
you.
we need to help people find these resources where you can find them immediately. You know, I shouldn't have to make phone calls to the crisis hotline who's asking me, are you ready to kill yourself? No, somebody's ready to kill me.
Yeah.
And then you call 911 and they're saying, well, there's nothing we can do. And then you take them to the hospital, which doesn't have a psychiatrist on call because there are no more psychiatrists in our hospitals. So they just hold them there and then release them to a facility for 72 hours.
Oh my
and we're
gosh.
right back in the same circle.
You got a story.
Boy, do I have a story. You haven't even heard nothing. Make Oprah look like a joke. And let me tell you, I'm reserving. I'm just focusing on the CBD.
I understand for today. For today. Yeah, you're going to be back again, Alison. I like it. And Jermaine, Lady G, she's watching Jermaine. Thank you, Jermaine. She's watching. So thank you for this connection. So thank you, Alison.
I appreciate it, my dear.
Good.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was good. Thank you. You guys know me. You know where you can reach me. I'm everywhere. But before we do that, today's show was powered by Hot Ice Lyve. Yes, it is. Yes, it was. Hot Ice Lyve Entertainment Group. It powered the show today. They got a lot of great shows that are coming up. So, at Venkman's next Saturday, June 9th, it is Katie Burgess and friends. You need to be in the place for that. That's going to be awesome. A lot of musicians are lined up to support it. November 9th, that's a Saturday.
Okay.
You should go, but you'll be busy. But in between, in between making, changing lives, you should come on out and have a good time there. We're going to have Hot Ice Lyve has got 2 shows at Buteco next Sunday, 3 and 5 p.m. with none other than Heston. You need to be there for that. That's going to be nice. It's going to be really cute. Okay. Yeah. Brazilian inspired. Hot, soul, music for the soul. It's going to be really great. Like it. Yeah, man. Yeah, come on. Don't be a stranger. So now, for me, you know me. I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. We got the website. Yeah, we pushing these shirts. You see it. Go to the website and get your shirt. You like it. You want it. The holidays are coming. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then we are streaming. Right. We're on iTunes, iHeart, Pandora. You should be subscribing so that you don't miss this. When you see me, you say, I missed the last show. And I go, subscribe so you don't miss any of the shows. This content is good. You want to have it. I want you guys to slide some of this information in people's DMs when this show is over. When we finish the recording, I want you to share this. Tell a friend about this program and the things that we're talking about, because this is good stuff that we need to know. Allison, thank you so much for your time today. I loved it. I enjoy it. That's my time. Until next time, you guys take care. Take care. Rock on. Bye.